Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not big candles. That spaghetti, them O's. I'm so ready, how them pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than gun beat boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just still decoys. Like
So, and it transformed from fiction into realism, even though it is a work of fiction.
For that green like for Rick, no, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? In mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check. Check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down.
So in the time before everything starts, and the second book kind of gets into the very beginning of it, and then the third book kind of ends up the first phase of what happened.
My target audience when I wrote it, in my head was were basically teenage girls that had read Twilight and were sorry that it was over.
From this reason. And they are animals being arsenic.
But you're the bus driver, right? Yeah, there he is. I was like, that's cool. It's like it was made for it.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't.
Thank you. Welcome to another great show of APN TV Media. We definitely have a lot in store for you today. Actually, we have two dynamic guests, and let's start with the first one. The first one, her name is Dr. Kimberly Lemke. I said that right? Yes. Dr. Kimberly Lemke, and her book is titled I Just Don't Understand My children's rules. Do you see what just happened to me? My children got a hold of me. My children's rules. No, this says, I just don't get my parents' rules. Yes, I just don't get my parents' rules. Now we'll have kids looking at me like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No, that's that new generation thing. They're still your parents. But there's rules to be made and there's rules to be learned. She'll be on the first segment. I'm gonna tell you the truth, it's just dynamic. It is just dynamic. It started making me wondering about the rules. Like I didn't get my parents' rules when I was a little kid, and I'm sure that you probably didn't, you kind of bent the rules yourself. Well, we call ourselves bending the rules when we were kids. But in actuality, we need to learn from it because we could be more positive and more productive in the future as we grow up. All right. And our second guest on the show is a returning author. Yes, you got it. Our Michigan castle builder. And you know what? Without introduction, it's Scott Bredschneider of Star Blazers, which we know about the. But you know what? One of the things about that book, and I have to share this with you, is that I've been getting a lot of feedback on is he's going to have a sequel to it. Okay, and I had to throw that out there because I even saw it myself. There's readers are asking about a sequel, asking if he's going to make another adventure of the, and I believe this computer geek or it's a pirate ship thing, and he's a computer. Why am I keep calling one a computer geek? Well, any of us on computers pretty much are geek anyway. But the guy who does help me out here. It's the guy who does the computer. He's the main character, isn't he? Okay, we're going to talk about that because I'm jumping ahead of myself here, and I keep thinking about because it has to do with a lot. It's sci-fi and fantasy. I should be able to call it that, sci-fi and fantasy. But we're going to get into that in the second half. So without further ado, okay, let's get this party started, and I'll see all of you in a few moments.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah.
You're not shallow at all. For hours we could sit and talk, yeah. On just about anything, from A to Z. It's crazy how you relate to me. Oh girl, with you I can always be myself. It's something that I've never felt. What's not to love about you?
Yes. Welcome back. You know what? After without further ado, I'm going to bring in Kimberly, Dr. Kimberly and Lemke. Come on. Thank you. Dr. Kimberly and Lemke. Thank you. I'm glad you made it. And come to think about it, you've all the way from Chicago.
Yes.
Chicago, yes, the Windy City, yeah. The Windy City.
Yes.
The Windy City.
Yes.
So I know you
some energy.
Yes. I said earlier I was going to mention something to you because I asked you about it. You actually bungee jumped.
I did.
My gosh, incredible. You know, I would love to do something like that, but I don't know. That's scary, but it looks like fun.
You know, I didn't think too hard about it, which I think helped me do it. My dad was like, come on, let's do this. We were at Great America, and he was like, just, let's do it. And I didn't think, and I just said, all right, great. So they're hooking me up, and as everything's getting hooked up, I can just, be like, I don't know about this now, but it's too late. I was already hooked up, and then we just start going up, and I screamed the entire time. The entire time. I never stopped. I think I blacked out on most of it. I don't even remember it.
Oh, when you got off, and how did it feel? What was the energy? Matter of fact, not when it stopped. When you were screaming, did it feel like one of roller coaster rides? But I don't know. What was the feeling like to bungee jump?
It was, the first part was like praying that all the cables were holding and everything was going to be good, because you have to like pull the ripcord, and there's just a moment where you just got to trust that this was a good choice. So
and it was your father?
My dad and I did it.
Oh my gosh, a tag team
Oh my
here.
goodness. So, we're screaming, and I've got a 4.5-year-old twin. So as we're like, going over them, they hear mommy like screaming at the top of her lungs. And I was like, it's okay, baby. As mommy's screaming and crying. But it was, I loved it. I got off and I was like, I'd do it again.
You would?
Yeah. I couldn't think about it a whole lot before, but it would be like I'd just have to get up there and they'd hook me up and I'd go again.
Well,
My
I'm
husband
going to
would.
throw this out there at your husband.
Yeah.
So you would let her go and do it again?
If that's what she wants, she can have that.
Oh my gosh!
We tried to get him up, and it was not going to happen.
I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I love seeing it, but the adrenaline, the excitement to do it, but the adrenaline when you are in free falling.
Yeah.
Free falling.
My dad said, "How do you forget?" Because when he got off, he's like, "What'd you think?" And I said, "I think, like when I was dropping, I just I blanked out. I was just like, oh Lord, this is good. I think."
I couldn't think about that. I'll probably be praying on
Yeah.
the way up and down. Because, woo-wee.
Yes,
I don't
exactly.
know. But you said you would do it again.
I would.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd go much higher. Like I wouldn't be jumping from planes or anything. Because if it's a good plane, I'm not jumping out. But I'd do that again.
Man, that's putting that on the bucket list.
You can do it.
Yeah. But anyway, you have there was something else your book, as a matter of fact, her book titled, I Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules. This is incredible. But I'm also going to talk to her about Dr. Kim. Can I say that? Dr. Kim?
Absolutely.
Or Kim,
Yeah,
Dr.
whatever you
Kim.
want. I answer to most things, so.
Oh.
Whatever.
What is it that you do? I mean, you wrote the children's book. I
Yeah.
see that. Psychologist or something like that?
Yeah. Psychologist.
I said that right also.
You did.
Ooh. Tell us a little bit about that. What you do.
So I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. So I work with kids all the way through the lifespan,
Yes.
through adulthood. And so, work with individuals with emotional disorders, behavioral disorders. And I do a lot of parenting trainings and workshops, whether it's on behavioral issues or I do a lot with like potty training and those sorts of things. And so I just enjoy working with kids. And my husband and I were lucky enough to have twin babies of our own.
Wow.
Yeah. So I understand. I understand just how difficult it is to be a parent. I mean, it's really hard to start out there. So I get it. So I wanted to write something and make something that to hopefully help parents' jobs be easier and help them kind of connect with their kids because it's a tough road.
Yes, and that's a good point. What you said about being able to connect with your children.
Yeah.
And that's what we need today. As parents, we still need. I don't care we started or when we're at a certain age in life. We still need to find a way to connect with our children. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so there's times we find out, even not just from the beginning, but as they're older, and me notice being a grandparent, is that not only connecting with the young ones, but even the adults that are still children, they're still my babies.
Yeah.
But I got to find a way to still connect with them even at that level, or that age. So do you have a certain age bracket, or is it an overall from children from potty trained to adulthood?
In terms of who I work with at my practice?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I from any age. So from little ones, typically when you're really little, it's hard for me to work directly with that. So a lot of that is more, I do a lot of postpartum work as well. So kind of helping moms work with their babies and be able to understand like certain stages in development and those sort of things. And I work with people throughout the lifespan again. So, when you talk about connecting with your kids, I explain it a lot of times as a dance that we have to do as parents. And, and we have to learn to just dance differently, but we can't forget to continue to dance with them. So when we're little and we get to dance with them, we get to have all the control and, love them and hug them and move them around wherever we want to go and take them where we want to go. And then as they get a little bit older, we have to step maybe back a little bit, maybe hold a little bit different, but we still have to remember to dance. And as they get older and, they grow to have families, then we're still dancing, but maybe we're just a little bit farther and we're just kind of like swaying with you as you're dancing. And I just think that we have to remember as parents, we just have to continue to dance from little to big and not get caught up in the control of it. Because when you're little, you get to control more of that dance. And when they're older, you don't. So.
Oh, yes.
So good luck with that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yes. Incredible. And this is where, now I can actually see the perspective. And what you do is actually in here. Your perspective. It's like dancing.
It is.
It's actually what it is. You know what? Let me go to these questions, because I'm sure we're going to see a lot of you. There is no doubt about that. I mean, this is incredible, and it makes your book makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's not just for children, but it's actually for the family.
Yep, absolutely.
For the family, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I like this. This book's incredible at any age. I just don't get my parents' rules. You know what's funny is it takes it when you're even an adult and you look back at it and you're like, whoa, I never even thought, I started, doing things against the rules and it became a tolerance.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out how to deal with me.
Yeah.
In those situations. And I'm glad how you put it in here for children to see it even within themselves.
Well, I mean, it seems fun, right? Like, so you think about, as a kid, oh my gosh, I get to have as much candy as I want, or like, oh my gosh, I'm going to play out all night. Why is there a bedtime? And so you set these limits as parents, and they're mad. I mean, and understandably so. Like, I'd rather be playing with my friends all day too, but you got to go to bed. And so I think what becomes hard is parents sometimes get wrapped up in why don't they why are they being so difficult? Like, there's kind of that old school thinking of like, if I tell you to do it, you should just do it. Why aren't they doing it? And part of it is we have to understand that developmentally, we kind of want them to have a little bit of fight back with us and learn how to kind of make choices, make decisions, deal with frustration. We're kind of teaching them how to handle the world, and as they get older, how to handle, teachers, how to handle professionals, how to handle bosses. And so we start that from very early on in terms of our rules and helping kids understand why there's rules. Understanding why they don't like the rules. And then also, in part of the book too, is towards the end, I help kids try to deal with when they're frustrated, because they will be. Some techniques that I use to kind of help kids calm down when they are frustrated, because that's just a normal part of childhood, is they're going to be mad at you a lot. So.
She got me, because what's funny is that I was just thinking about it. Oh my gosh, you mean tell me I've got to be able to cope with the frustration, or how to? I actually want them to. It's like allowing them to buck me at a certain point.
Yep.
Well, let me get to these questions,
Yeah.
because whoo, that's a lot of meat. I mean, I'm just like, and you made it sound so simple, and I'm just going like, ooh.
Yeah, it's not simple. I wish.
My mom back there, like, Mom, put away the belt. I understand.
I'll do it.
Okay. How did you get the idea to write this book? How about that? How did you get the idea to write this book?
So again, like I said before, I do a lot of parenting training, and I work with a lot of parents. I have friends who are parents, and what I had always done in my parenting trainings was to tell the story of this little boy, to help parents understand from the child's perspective why there's rules. So I always kind of verbally told the story. I taught it to colleagues so colleagues could tell their clients, and told it to friends. And there's a lot of books out there for parents. There's tons, which is super helpful, but about rules and how to set them. But there's really nothing for kids. And so I wanted to create something so that talking about rules could actually be enjoyable and creative and imaginative, as opposed to a power struggle, like, you will do what I say. So, so from starting early on, it gives children and parents a way to communicate about it in a fun way. They can see this little boy, and they just have a language to use with each other to say, hey, remember how this little boy didn't like that? Like, this is why Mommy sets the rules. And remember in the back, how, the little boy was doing his breathing. Maybe we could try that. So I wanted to do it to kind of help a family grow kind of stronger around a very difficult topic.
Wow.
Thank you.
Why do children? We grew up. We were kids, and it was like it was law. But we often, I guess, you did, obviously you did great. You did. As a matter of fact, you did great.
Thank you.
Because you became a psychologist. Okay, so somehow something rubbed off on you from your parents as well, even though your father is very interesting.
Dropping me from.
You can say hello to your dad. As a matter of fact, you can say hello to your children.
Great.
And everybody.
Hi,
and all that. Yes. That's incredible. Yeah. Why do children need rules? How about that?
Well, you always want to ask the parent that, 'cause you never want to ask the kids that, because the kids will be like, we don't need rules. Like, there's no need for it. They don't see a need for it. They think that they can handle their own little world, so they should be able to tell you how much candy to eat or how much time they want to spend outside. And the truth is that we know this without a doubt, is that kids are actually more anxious when there are no rules. And the reason for that is kids understand that the big people are in charge. And we're born knowing that. We're born knowing that this person is in charge. And so we look to that person, as we looked at them to say, okay, we're going to count on you to keep us safe. And so when we don't do that, we don't have any rules for them, we'll actually see anxiety in kids go up because they actually crave that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I want you to back that up again. You said it was about to keep them safe.
Yeah.
Can you reiterate that again?
Absolutely. So kids need rules to help them feel safe. So, whether they understand it or not, so they have to go to sleep at a certain time because, we want them to grow. We want, their bodies to develop. We don't want them, running near the street, even though they might want to because there's cars coming. My husband and I just encountered, my daughter figured out how to unlatch the under the counter little latches. She's like, "Mommy, look at this." We're like, "No, don't touch. Put it down." But the reason we put that there and that we put those limitations is to keep them safe. And kids don't get that. So we do this, and we do what we do in terms of rules is to keep them safe and help them grow. And without that there, they do get anxious because they feel like, wow, I'm in charge of this big world. And they know on some level, like, I don't know this world yet. So I don't know that I can control this and keep myself safe. And so then you'll see the anxiety go up in them.
Wow, yes. And you know what? On that note, we'll be right back after this. That's interesting. About safety, the rules actually apply, go hand in hand. The rules are to apply for safety. And also the education factor was funny when you mentioned sleep. And I'm thinking, you know what? Actuality, if I had enough sleep, I could be able to function more in the morning, or when I go to school, I could be able to listen more to the teachers. Yep. You know, it actually helps your education. Mm-hmm. You know, attentiveness. Also your brain. Yep. Be able to function better when it's rested. Mm-hmm. Than, you know, always still turmoil from the following day or early in the morning. Even as we get older, I was just thinking about that after you said that, and I said, you know what, she's right. And about eating proper, you know, I really never gave much thought about taking off, like in the morning time when I was in school, even in the university, colleges, that when if I don't eat in the morning, I can't function right. You know, all of a sudden I'm not adhering to anything, and I'm like, I'm already thinking about, man, I can't wait till lunch. I can't wait till lunch. Yeah. Well, that's because I didn't eat breakfast. Exactly. So I'm not even, you know, I'm not allowing my brain to absorb knowledge. Yeah. Instead, it's like feeding my brain. Instead, I am causing a hunger. Yes. Not only for eating, but the hunger or say the lack thereof for the education that could have had those hours prior. Yeah. Yeah. You know, so everything you said again, I felt like a little kid before you.
It's good to feel like a kid. It's a good thing.
Yes, but it does make me thankful for what my parents were trying to do for me when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, instead of overlooking it.
Yeah.
And in today's society, like you say, these rules, it's a lot of, I don't need rules. I don't need, and it's like, actually, with no rules, there's chaos. When there's chaos, you get in more trouble than you thought you would have been in.
Absolutely.
So these rules help apply even when you're younger, and as you get older, you look back, and when you have children, then you see why those rules were applied.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about, too, when you said, chaos, even as adults, right? If you take away the rules and there's chaos, we feel fear, and we're adults. So it's just a miniature version of that exact same thing. You take away the rules and there's chaos, and they feel fear and anxiety. Now, they're not aware of that. That's not something they're like, oh, I wish, mom and daddy had more rules. That you're never going to hear that. But that's a component of what they feel. And I will see kids in my office where, when anxiety is heightened, if we start to kind of structure their lives a little bit better, you'll see that anxiety decrease.
Wow. Wow. It's still a lot to absorb here. I mean, I'm absorbing it, but it's like, wow, it's like something we knew inside, but it never reached in our brain. You're bringing it out where it's like, wow, I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, you're a psychologist, I guess. I feel like I'm doing therapy. I'm an adult child. I'm learning something at my age. But hey, that's cool.
You can always learn.
Yeah, thank you.
You can always learn.
Thank you. Wow. Now I know kids going to be looking at me now like, see?
I told you.
I told you. Okay. At what age do you recommend that people... You know what? Actually, if somebody wanted to find your book, I know your books are in several bookstores or available. They nowadays, and which is excellent. Yeah, I saw your book out there.
Good.
I saw it out there.
Great.
Incredible. You've got a lot of great reviews. You have 5 stars, actually. You have 5 stars.
Oh, good.
Yes, I did my homework. and
you must have had good sleep then if you're able to do your homework.
Yes. Where can we get your book at? I mean, actually, what age do you recommend for us to be able to if we want to purchase your book, which I'm sure, because I love it. I love it, and I had some children that looked at it and they love it.
Great.
And then when I saw, all these great 5 stars on there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So, yes. So, really, what age bracket do you recommend for the book?
I think that, so here's kind of how the book has a little bit of flow, right? So we are, from the time they come out, right, we're saying things like, don't do that, or don't touch that, or no, or don't bite, or, whatever it is. So what I can recommend to parents, and the best, I get a lot of feedback on this in terms of, traditionally it's, 2 to 7 or 3 to 7 in terms of, when they can understand books. But I'll get a lot of feedback from parents who say that they started actually earlier, just reading it, so that when they introduce it, it's not like, why is she talking about rules? Like, stuff's going to change. It's just, they look at the pictures, and when we create it, we want to make sure it was very visually kind of stimulating. I wanted to make sure, everything was soft, everything was enjoyable. And so, I'll have a lot of parents who start very early on just to look at the pictures, to have a bedtime moment or a routine where they're just reading it as just any book. And then usually around age, 2-ish, so about 2 to 7, they'll start to understand the content a little bit better. So, they'll understand like, oh, I get it now. Like, this is why, Mom the other day just said I couldn't do this, or Dad the other day said I couldn't do this. And so they'll understand the content of the book better. But a lot of people enjoy introducing it from earlier on. That's been the feedback I have. And then when they do introduce it in terms of, hey, let's look at the content, it's not a foreign concept.
See, it's very well crafted. The book itself, as you can see here, I'm just looking up to show that the viewing on how very well crafted, designed this book is. I mean, it's beautiful and well educated. I'm talking about, oh my gosh, for any age. That's why it's a certain age bracket. But as a parent, you believe it or not, it's good for even for the for us as adults, to be able to go through the book ourselves. And you know what? I'm going to encourage that too. You know, even though it's we were mentioning about the age bracket, recommend for this book, but I also will recommend that a parent should be able to look at this book and read it for themselves, and you'd be surprised how well absorbed that you become in this type of book. It's like a self-induced psychology to be able to see what your children are seeing or seeing what they're not seeing, and that way you can be able to convey to them as well. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
'Cause that's the purpose. Yes. Go
And
ahead.
in the back too, there's you know, anger management tools to teach kids and teach parents, and I use those tools in adults. So you know, you'll find me doing some of the breathing techniques I talk about in the book, and so I do think it's helpful for, you know, for all ages to do that. And I think it's good too that we model that for our kids. So, you know, when I'm upset and I'm taking, you know, my deep breaths, I teach that to my kids, whether it's purposely or it's not purposely. If they see mommy, you know, counting to 5 and taking deep breaths, then I'm also teaching them a tool that they're going to need later in life, because they're going to be, you know, angry, they're going to be upset, they're going to be sad, and they've got to learn to deal with that.
Is there a connection?
Yeah, absolutely.
This letter of Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules transports parents and children to the world of parents' rules. This book is written for parents who understand the importance of setting rules at home and who are looking for an imaginative, enjoyable way to explain this topic to their child. Readers take a journey with a boy as he explores his feelings about his parents' rules. Along the way, he imagines life without those horrible rules. Interesting. Although he is momentarily caught up in the euphoria and amusement of the possibilities, he soon realizes that a house without rules might not be as fantastic as he imagined. The boy acknowledges his anger at the rules and shares fun, practical, and effective strategies for managing his feelings. I Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules is a valuable resource for parents and their children, as well as for nannies, grandparents, teachers, and any other caregiver who wants to encourage the emotional growth of a child. Wow. Yes. Yes. That's self-explanatory. Yes.
You know what's interesting too, that I've had some feedback on my website as well, that a lot of times there's somebody in our life who we think that their kids need rules, but we don't know how to tell them without offending them. So if it's like a daughter-in-law, the most feedback I've gotten is on daughter-in-laws, that it's just kind of like you want them to kind of set some rules for these kids, whether they're, you know, acting crazy or whatever it is. And so this is the gift that they give. So it's kind of like, and so it's just kind of around the back door, sort of like, here's just a book to read, you know, and in this message it talks about rules. And so I've gotten some feedback on that too. That's just kind of an around the back door kind of way to be like, oh, here's why rules are important. But you know, I didn't tell you. I didn't say it, you know. So
they see it themselves and they understand how important it is.
Yes.
Wow. Well, how did your children, when they read this, how did they feel when they read this?
It was cool for them to be a part of this process with me too, you know. So
yes,
it was just cool. They would see mommy writing it and you know, looking through pictures and to see how, you know, I wanted to develop. And so when it came together, you know, I was proud of it, and they were proud of it. But they do get the message. I mean, they understand it. We talk about it. You know, we still read it. Yeah,
they understood it. That's the credibility. Is what I'm sharing about this book, is that the children, her children, instead of having a fit, I'll say that.
Yeah.
They gave credibility to the design, the benefits of the book itself, because they're under those rules as well.
Absolutely.
And that's what I look at when they're looking at it. They're going, "Wow, you know what? Mama's right."
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we need to share with our children. So also as parents, when we get a book like this, actually this book, I Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules, that after we hand it to our children, I'm looking forward to my kids giving me a hug and saying thank you.
Yeah.
Just because of this book.
Oh, well, that is so good to hear. That is so good to hear.
You know what? I know one of the things I want to Actually, I was going to ask you this. Okay, a couple more things. Is what would your main advice? You know what would be your main advice for new parents?
I think we have to manage our expectations. That's the number one thing. I think we go in thinking, oh, this is going to be wonderful, and this is going to be great, and I always throw my friend under the bus, and I don't mean to. I love you, but I remember I had called her the day before I was going to have the twins, and I said, what's it like? What's it like to be a mom? And she said to me, it's like Christmas morning every day. And I was like, wow, like that sounds awesome. I had done enough work with postpartum depression to know, though, that that's not quite how it's portrayed to me. So, and I had done some nannying, so I was like, well, but I thought, wow, like, okay, Christmas morning every day, like I can get on board with that, Wow. So, my husband and I, again, the kids come home, little boy, little girl, twin, love them, cute them, for a moment it's like Christmas morning. And then, it's the middle of the night and it's, week 4, And, in the middle of the night, one's crying and one's screaming. And my husband and I would look at each other and we'd be like, Merry Christmas, honey. Merry Christmas. And then we'd be like, God, I feel bad for her. I wonder what kind of Christmases she had, if this was Christmas. So I think part of it is I think there are absolutely Christmas morning moments. But I think we have to have realistic expectations just in terms of who we are as a parent. I know mine and people all the time are like, those were your expectations? And my expectations were, I had to put my contacts in when I woke up. I just had 3. I had to brush my teeth, and I had to change out of my sleep clothes. Now, I could change into like yoga pants and a t-shirt, but I couldn't have slept in it. Those were my 3 rules. Like that's what I had to do, and those were my expectations for myself. Because as soon as you wake up, it's go time. And so, by setting those as my expectations, then you don't feel as much like a failure because you're completing it. And your expectation is, I wake up, I'm the perfect mom. They're not crying, everybody's fine. I'm doing art projects. I'm doing 3 basic things. And in doing that, what happens is then I start to feel successful, and they're very realistic. So keep those expectations very realistic so that you don't start to feel like it's a failure as a mom or, start to feel, depressed and those sort of things.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The book several places, like I believe that Barnes Noble too, and so that means it's more of a larger global scale to find your books.
Yeah.
Available bookstores, major and minor bookstores. So we pretty much covered the ground once you hit Barnes Noble. Amazon, Barnes Noble, and other. Matter of fact, you know what? Just check your stores where available. How's that?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Absolutely.
But your website, where's your website?
Yeah, so you can find me at parentsrules.com. You can also purchase the book through that, and there's an option to have a signed copy of it as well. So I'm happy to do that. You can also find me on Twitter at Dr. Kimberly Lemke. And you can also find me on Facebook as at I Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules. And you can also, when you go to parentsrules.com, there'll be a link to kind of some other strategies for parents to help us do our job a little bit easier and better, because it's hard work. It's hard work.
Thank you. Yes. She said it better than I could. I was like, my God, it's everywhere. And I didn't know how to begin with that, but thank you.
Yes, good.
This is Dr. Kimberly Lemke with I Just Don't Get My Parents' Rules. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to. Yeah. You know what? And we'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
Yeah, watch it. Got the riffs on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah.
Why should our kids eat healthy? That's a good question. What happens when they don't eat healthy? Well, eating unhealthy leads to an unhealthy life. What can it lead to, you may ask? It can lead to childhood obesity, which leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, and also heart problems. It also can lead to our kids taking medicines at an early age and also extended hospital stays. How can we bring awareness to our kids about childhood obesity? How can we bring awareness to our parents about childhood obesity? Bringing awareness to our kids and their families about childhood obesity helps the whole family. Everyone is healthy and everyone is happy. I think I might have a solution. Follow me and let's see.
Yeah. Welcome back. You know what? That was awesome. So, without further ado, okay, let's kick this party off again, and we're going to bring back a returning author, okay, our Michigan Castle builder, because we're going to get an update and see what's going on with his book, titled Star Blazers. It's very incredible, but you know what? Let's bring him in. Scott Bredschneider. Yes. Good to see you. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's go to this side. Oh, my goodness. You know what? You are incredible. You're always busy. Every time I see you around somewhere, you're doing something. Did you? By any, I'm not going to throw this out there, but did you, by any chance, add anything else to? Did you start working on the castle again anymore?
It's a big project. I've been working on it for a long time, and the castle is nearing completion, at least for Tower 1.
Wow. Well, now that's what. It's Tower 1. There's 4 towers, right?
My original plans have 4 towers in it and 4 connecting walls. It's taken a little longer than I thought, but I do have a wife and kids, so they take a little bit of time too.
Oh, yes. You're incredible. You're incredible.
Thank you.
You got a family you're handling, a business you're handling, yep. and a castle that's just incredible. I mean, wow. It's incredible.
Every man home is a castle.
How true. And women, I know y'all probably going, what? No, yes. It's every man's home is a castle and family too.
Yes.
And women. Whew. I had to keep myself, because like I said, my lady made me, she made me take the phone with me. Take a mobile phone with me. You're going to make sure I know where you're at. And I'm like, okay. Your book. Star Blazers is incredible. I found myself kept looking at it, and then, it was out on display, on Monroe Street. And it's what's interesting is that the reviews I've gotten were basically, I knew it. Was there going to be a sequel? Before we get into this, before you answer that about a sequel, I want to ask you these questions, Scott. And that's basically to keep everybody abreast, everybody updated, okay, to that point.
Sure.
Because these reviews that I'm getting, it's about the sequel. And I knew it because, like, you left us open in this. So don't answer that yet, okay? So we're going to start with this. What inspired you to write Star Blazers?
Well, as a child, I've always liked science fiction movies and stuff. And at one point, I decided that I had some ideas of my own, and kind of a storyline developed, and I started writing it, and I wrote my own novel.
Wow. Wait a minute. You mean tell me you did this when you were younger?
I actually started writing about 15 years ago, And at the time, I was in the United States Marine Corps, and I had a little bit of free time once in a while, so I would write a chapter or two of Star Blazers, and I started writing it for fun, and then as the novel developed, it became a little bit more work, and you actually had to take some notes and make sure that the storyline followed a even pattern, and you didn't skip or miss anything, and you have to go back and make changes and corrections sometimes. But all in all, it was a lot of fun.
Also, thank you for your service. Within the services of the military. That's to go through what you go through, and to fight for the country, which seems like matter of fact, I am glad that we have servicemen like you that actually dedicated for this country. So again, thank you for your service.
No problem.
All right. You know what? Tell me the theme of the book.
It's a science fiction book. It's about these pirates, the Star Blazers, and they're setting out to salvage or steal a destroyer-class vessel. And they need a little bit of help because there's a computer technician, one of the main characters, his name is Conway. And to operate starships, you need a lot of technical skill. So the pirates have learned that you have to recruit the best and brightest, but then at the same time they have to sort of dupe or coerce him to help him acquire this destroyer.
Wait a minute. So what I'm getting here is that just I kept wondering, the Conway, the computer guy.
Right.
His job is to maintain and be able to for those who wants to operate a starship. Mm-hmm. This is what he does.
Yes, he's a computer expert.
He's a computer expert. So it's not just one starship, but he can actually go to other ships. That is what he does.
Right. Whenever you have a large vessel, you've got all kinds of computers, and space travel is very technical. So
I was getting to that. Yes. Oh. Okay. Well, go ahead. Continue. Tell me a little bit more about it.
As the story develops, there's a couple of characters. There's a female named Michelle, so there's a little bit of a romance going on there. But Michelle actually belongs to somebody else. She's kind of a kept woman, so it's a forbidden relationship there. But I don't want to give away too much. You can read it in a book.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah.
You ever had a dream where you just want so much for yourself, but you don't know how to get there because you don't have many options, but you do anything for your loved ones, your mom, your dad, family members, to the point you don't even know how to get there. You just know the ending result, but you don't even know the middle of how it's going to all happen. And you have to deal with waking up and not having stuff to aspire to, seeing boarded up homes and shattered dreams, and kids not even wanting to play outside. It's like my dad had the American dream of owning a home, which he did. In my small town of New York City, everyone has dreams, but too many are too scared to chase them. I don't want to focus on what society tells me I can and will be. I want to be so naive that dreaming is like anything that my mind creates, it can happen. I want to be fearless in chasing any goal I set my mind to. I want to catch anything that I feel like I deserve, that I feel that's owed to me for my diligence of hard work and being patient and always being at the moment. I feel like I'm always at the right place at the right time. Even my environment now, I know it's all for a reason. It's for me to inspire somebody to say they can do this and they can do that. To go after what you feel like you deserve. That's what I want to live for. And when I die, that's what I want to stand for. That's what I want my legacy to be. Is to be a dreamer. A dreamer of the boy who caught 22.
Again, that Scott Bredschneider did an awesome job on the book titled Star Blazers. We're already looking for a sequel, which like everybody's itching to see a sequel. So we're kind of forcing his hand. It's like having Steven Spielberg, somebody like, we're forcing their hand. Please, can you just write another book, something? Because after a while we're like, we can't keep reading it over and over. We're creating our own storyline out of the book.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So you know what? You got a great fan base, and you got a great book.
Thank you.
And it's well deserved to be looked at. As far as entering into the movie industry, it's well played. Well played. Scott Bredschneider, people, and you know what? I would love to have you do another return. And we're going to ask that question again if you don't. But look forward to seeing Scott Bredschneider again. And also we are looking forward to seeing him doing a lot of events, book events, as well as, matter of fact, you know what, check the calendar out at apntvmedia.com. And be able to keep up on a daily basis to see, current events about Scott Bredschneider. Bredschneider. Did I say that right?
Bredschneider with a D.
Bredschneider. I've always said, well, that's my little Philadelphia, New York accent thing. Scott Bredschneider. Did I say that right?
That's fine.
He's very humble. He helps me out. He's very humble. But everybody, you know what? On that note, I will talk to you in a few moments.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. Yes. As a matter of fact, that was good. We had a lot of fun today. You know what? Actually, if you have a book, okay, or you know somebody that has a book, I encourage you to let them know that, they're available because, these interviews, this is a way to get or to help authors and writers be able to have a book interview here on APN TV Media. And you can go to our website at www.apntvmedia.com. Our main goal is authors helping authors succeed, is to you as the critics, or shall I say you, the viewers and readers, you are the critics, okay, not us. We don't judge the author's books or anything like that. You do. You the ones who sets the pace and set the tone. Our job is to arrange the meeting. So without further ado, I would like to see everybody come back again next week for another great show, or say segments of APN TV Media. I'm going to say APNTVmedia.com. But you know what? You can watch the broadcast also on Channel 21 here in Monroe, 916. We got other channels that you can watch it on. You have to go to our APNTVmedia.com and go to Broadcasting Network, and you'll see the other channels and how far that the program is expanding. But most of all, I encourage you to be able to use your own judgment, your critique, and your reviews on these authors' books, because we're here to help you succeed. All right, God bless. I'll see you in a little bit. Take care, and see you next week.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lemke. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not with candles that smoke, yeah, tea them, O's. I'm so ready, how to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just steal decoys like them duck hunters running, blowing whistles, making noise. It's official, tell them nizzles, I'm the dizzle, flow sizzle, faux shizzle. I'm off the hizzy, busy signal. I got that hustle muscle for that green like the for brick. No, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check or text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check or text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you.
Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down. Ain't nobody like me. Wrist so icy, colors like iced tea. Them diamonds get pricey. Got rich now, everybody so nice to me. I'm a whiz kid, Doogie Howser. Just like the game, snatch your dame, I'm Bowser. Spit hot flames, stay sagging in my trousers. Even on church day, the preacher like no way. And Miss Jenkins like, Lord, take them demons away. In my headphones, Jesus walks by Kanye. Macking to a chickie, trying to get some kissy kissy. You can nibble on my neck, but no hickey.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check or text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check or text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Baby, I'm the bomb diggy. Girls be begging for another chance like I'm Biggie. I run the city, call me P. Diddy. My life's Whoopi Goldberg, it ain't nothing pretty. It's been a long time coming, this ain't happened quickly. Overnight, try more like over and over until the morning light. Steady trying to get it right.